Comic publishers have a lot planned for 2023, and in this video I'm breaking down my most anticipated comics of the year. What's up guys, BJ Kicks here. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope, the channel where I celebrate everything dope about comics. If you're new, consider subscribing. Now, today I am giving I'm listing my most anticipated comic book titles in 2023. Last week, we wrapped up the year 2022. We just had our first new comic book day of the year, and things are looking pretty promising. I've been going through the previews, going through all the different publishers' press releases, trying to figure out, okay, in 2023, what am I most excited to read? What are the most exciting new initiatives going on? And man, are there a bunch. So I'm going to break this down by publisher and hope you stick around to the end. So, of course, I'm never going to start a list without talking about Milestone. So Milestone is really an imprint of DC Comics at this point. But last year, we got the conclusion of season 1 of all of their titles. So we had Static season 1, Icon and Rocket, Hardware, and Blood Syndicate, as well as an offshoot series called Duo. I loved all of it. Every panel of every page, I loved it. And this year marks the 30th anniversary of Milestone Comics publishing, actually next month, February. And they're doing some pretty cool things just to commemorate that. So in February, we are getting the official start of Static season 2, but it's called Static Shadows of Dakota. Now, this is written by Vita Ayala, but this time around, it's also co-written by the series artist Nicholas Draper Ivey. This one is going to put Static against Ebon, who, if you read if you watched the Static Shock cartoon, you know exactly who Ebon is. And I'm excited. I am very excited about this series. One, because Nick Draper Ivey, I follow on Twitter. I'm very excited about the take that he's trying to bring to the character. It's a little bit darker. It's a little bit more cinematic than we got in season 1. And of course, because Ebon is showing up, as well as a bunch of other Bang Babies that we thought we weren't going to see in the comics, or really at all, once the original series wrapped up all those years ago. So Static Shadows of Dakota is definitely very high on my priority list. Issue 1 actually comes out on February 7th. So if you haven't ordered that, it's actually on final order cutoff this weekend as I film this. So call your shot. Get on it. You don't want to miss out. But along with Static Shadows of Dakota coming out, we've got a couple of different Milestone series. The next event is called Icon versus Hardware. Or is it Hardware versus Icon? I think it's Icon v Hardware. But anyway, Hardware, Curtis Metcalf, going up against, Icon, Augustus Freeman, the friggin' alien from space, you know, the sort of Superman analog, where Hardware is kind of the Batman analog. This is definitely Milestone's version of Batman versus Superman. And the way this all happens is very interesting. The series is going to be written by Reggie Hudlin with Leon Chills. And I don't remember who's on art. I don't know who's on art on this. But anyway, I'm excited about that. And I'm hopeful that we're going to get more Blood Syndicate in 2023. But I don't know. They haven't announced it yet. I imagine we'll start getting announcements, one in February, but then also closer to like San Diego Comic-Con when they do the official Milestone 30th anniversary panel. I think they are holding stuff up their sleeves, but we're going to get a Milestone Anthology, a 30th anniversary special next month, where we're going to get at least one story. Well, excuse me, just one story, but one story featuring Static Shock of the future teaming up with Batman Beyond, just like they did on the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. So look, there's a lot to be excited for if you're a Milestone fan. And, of course, I'm a Milestone fan, so I'm excited. So since Milestone is a sort of offshoot of DC, we'll talk about DC Comics proper next. And 2023 marks the dawn of the DCU, or the dawn of DC as it's been branded. And coming out of Dark Crisis, we've got a new event starting called Lazarus Planet, which, if I'm honest, I'm kind of iffy on Lazarus Planet, on whether or not I'm excited about it. But it's written by Mark Waid, and I've been enjoying his Batman Superman world's finest. So I'm excited about that, at least in that regard. But what I'm most excited for from DC is the actual dawn of DC, where we're getting a ton of new titles, featuring heroes that we hadn't seen, new titles for in a long time. So, for example, we've got a Shazam series coming from Mark Waid and Dan Mora, the same team that brought you World's Finest last year. We've also got a Green Arrow series coming, penned by Joshua Williamson, who has been on record saying that Green Arrow is his favorite superhero. So I'm excited to see how that goes. The cover art just dropped for issue 1. Bruh. It's dope. So those things I'm excited about. But the area of the DC universe that I'm most excited for is actually the Superman family of titles. So with Action Comics 1050, a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week, we got set up for the new Superman series. We got set up for the new storyline in Action Comics, and we got set up for an Adventures of Superman John Kent series. Without spoiling that issue, the Secret Identity is back. Superman versus Lex has been taken to new heights. Metallo is lurking somewhere, about to get in on this action. And John Kent apparently is going to get energy powers somehow. So it's all exciting in its own ways, but I am most excited about the Superman title that launches in February. Superman #1, written by Joshua Williamson, but with art by Jamal Campbell, who you may know from Far Sector or even Naomi seasons 1 and 2. I've been saying since I read Naomi that I wanted Jamal Campbell drawing a AAA superhero title, because the way he drew Superman in that Naomi book was amazing. I need to see more of that full time. And now he's the full-time series artist on Superman. So that's awesome. But there's a lot that's really cool coming out of the DC universe. The Flash gets the 1 Minute War event. And of course, there's going to be some sort of a summer event. We'll probably find out more about it coming up near Free Comic Book Day in May. But all in all, man, there's a lot to be excited about on the DC universe side of things. And I got front row seats. I got my popcorn ready. Now with Marvel, I'm a little bit more cautiously optimistic about. Now, the things that I am excited for is, 1, the Sins of Sinister event. That starts next month. So this is Kieran Gillen getting another chance at writing an X-Men event. The last event he did was what was it called? AXE, Judgment Day. So he did the Judgment Day event, and it was a well-written event, but it wasn't like my favorite because all the real implications in that event were for the Eternals, and I'm not a big Eternals fan. So I was like, it was good, but it didn't do anything for me. But with Sins of Sinister, this is a definite X-Men event. It's kind of gearing up to be a sort of Age of Apocalypse, but with Sinister instead, which we kind of are retreading, it seems like thematically we are retreading some of the ground we just saw in the 10 Lives and 10 Deaths of Wolverine last year. But again, I'm excited because Mr. Sinister is a fun X-Men villain. The seeds have been planted for Sinister doing something sinister for like 3 years now. And I'm just excited for an X-Men event that is focused on the mutants and not like so much of the outside Marvel universe. And hopefully we get more action than we got in Ten of Swords. So Sins of Sinister, I'm pretty excited about. And then what I'm probably most excited for this year is finding out what in the world Jonathan Hickman has planned. So we're getting a preview of whatever new project Jonathan Hickman is on this Free Comic Book Day, which I believe is May 7th this year. So Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti are hard at work on this new epic Marvel story. Some people are speculating that it's Doctor Strange. I have no idea, but we did make some predictions over on our website for the year 2023. So go to comicsaredope.com and read the latest piece by Bunkmaster B to see who he thinks this event is all about. And I'm excited to see whatever it is, whatever it turns out to be. I think is going to be dope. I loved House of X. That's what got me into comics. Hickman is one of my favorites, and I kind of hate that his whole X-Men stuff got cut short, but hopefully whatever he's up to now makes up for it. Now, those are the things that I'm kind of most excited about from Marvel, but I'm still got a couple of series that I'm cautiously optimistic about as well, like Miles Morales. The Miles Morales Spider-Man title just got a #1 last month, and the story was like decent, but the art was really good. Like I'd probably go on record saying it was the best Spider-Man art I've seen in a few years, like since I've been reading Spider-Man ongoing in 2020. I think is when I started reading Spider-Man. So high praise. I just really, really like the artist. It's really kinetic. It's really dynamic, but the story is just kind of like, because Miles doesn't have a really great rogues gallery of his own, or really a great kind of story of his own outside of like the movies. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. Hopefully Cody Ziegler is able to really build something with this new Miles Morales Spider-Man title, because the character is just too cool and too bright to kind of play second fiddle all the time. But whatever. Another thing I'm excited about is Ryan North's Fantastic Four. Now, Fantastic Four is not a team that I've really been a big fan of or really followed like that. I wasn't reading the Dan Slott Fantastic Four. I picked it up a little bit for the Mark Brooks covers last year, but they just recently rebooted. Issue 3 came out this week as I filmed this. And fun fact, I've only read issue 3. I haven't even read issues 1 and 2, but we had a really cool, Johnny Storm or Human Torch story that made me intrigued. Like, okay, this series has got some legs. It's funny. It's got heart. It's got action, and the art is amazing. So I'm excited about Fantastic Four. I'm cautiously excited because I don't do well with like cosmic stories and space travel and time travel and stuff like that. And obviously we're going to get a lot of that in Fantastic Four. But I mean, what I do love is family. And I mean, does it get more family oriented than Marvel's first family? So Fantastic Four. I'm pretty excited about that. And that's going to round out my Marvel expectations, things I'm most excited for from Marvel. Now, another thing that I've got, another goal that I've got in 2023 is to read more indies. I am a superhero head. Like, all I want is a great superhero story, some action, some shoot 'em up, bang, bang, and cool. I'm done for the week. That was my entertainment. But there are some amazing stories going on the independent and creator owned side of things. Like Daniel Warren Johnson's Do a Powerbomb was like probably my favorite book last year, period. I also got into the Reckless series of books by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And all of those are like, you know, short, sort of self-contained stories. And that's my type of carrying on. As, you know, superheroes, we get so much event fatigue and all this other stuff, right? So in 2023, my endeavor is to read more indie titles. The one I'm probably most excited for is Darkwing Duck, which is, you know, definitely a superhero title, but it's Darkwing. It's this nostalgia indie. So Darkwing Duck #1 comes out in February. I'm excited about that. Speaking of Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, they've got a new original graphic novel coming out in the summer, and it's called Night Fever. There's a preview of Night Fever in this month's previews catalog. You should definitely check that out. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But it's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type story. I've just kind of fallen in love with the Brubaker Phillips duo, and I'm probably going to pick up pretty much anything they do. And that's an indie title that I'm excited about. And then the last one, the next one that I'm going to talk about, it actually comes up on Final Order Cutoff this weekend as well. But this one is from Peter J. Tomasi, who you may know from his time editing the Batman title or writing Batman and Robin during the Grant Morrison era, and also from the Superman era in Rebirth. Anyway, Peter J. Tomasi is writing a new series called Blood Tree for Image Comics and Mad Ghost. Mad Ghost, if I'm not mistaken, is the imprint by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. So it's a series about two detectives that are like investigating some grisly serial killings. This guy is going around killing family members of known murderers. It's definitely like a darker side of storytelling than I usually go for, but my wife has been watching Criminal Minds a ton in the last month, so I'm a little desensitized at this point. But also, I really love Peter Tomasi when he was writing Detective Comics for DC, and that he's writing a series about two actual detectives, or actual fictional detectives, solving a murder case like on a more kind of procedural level. I'm excited about that as well. It kind of fills my Law and Order urge. I imagine it'll probably be a little bit more gory than your typical Law and Order or Criminal Minds episode, but I'm cool with that. I'm excited about that series as well. My plan with indies, though, I am probably going to just like maybe grab issue 1 on release day, and I'll wait for the indies to come out in trade, because again, most of the time they're self-contained 5-6 issue story arcs, and they read really well back to back, as opposed to, you know, 1 issue a month. So that's my plan for the indies, but I do plan to grab more of them, and they're more on my radar than they've been in years past. So those are the books that I'm excited about, as far, at least of all the things that have been announced so far. But every month we get new solicitations, every month we get new previews, and there's new things to be excited about. But what are you excited for in 2023? What comics are you like just dying to read? Are you going to chill on buying new things? Are you just like, look, let me just get through my to read pile from last year? I feel you. I respect you. Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter over at comicsaredope.com. It's called This Week in Comics. Every week I will bring you my comics recommendations. I'll give you my thoughts on a few books that came out in the current week, as well as let you know, like give you a heads up on some new series that are up for final order cutoff this weekend. So go ahead. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Huge thanks to the channel family for sponsoring this video. And until next time, stay dope and read something dope today.